This series is brought to you by you. Thank you so much for all of my patrons and the people who have used the Jackson's affiliate links. It is thanks to you guys that this series have been made possible. Thank you so much. Welcome back to Colossal Color Showdown Season 3. This is episode 11 and we're going to start taking a look at the very bright and sunny Nickel Azo Yellow. The Nickel Azo Yellow is PY150, but different brands have different names for that color, and so we are going to do one of those episodes where we just stray slightly away from sticking to the name, and we're going to take a look at colors that are PY150 in each brand. So we are going to have different names for these colors for just this episode. We have the Nickel Azo Yellow by Daniel Smith, Transparent Yellow by Schmincke, Yellow Lake by Sennelier, Transparent Yellow by Winsor Newton, Nickel Azo Yellow by Core, Nickel Azo Yellow by M. Graham, Nickel Azo Yellow by Da Vinci, Green Gold by Mission Gold, Nickel Azo Yellow by Roman Szmal, Indian Yellow by White Knight, Aureoline by Rembrandt, and Transparent Yellow by MaimeriBlu. Because this is a Nickel Azo Yellow episode, if a brand has more than one PY150 and one of them is called Nickel Azo Yellow, I did pick that color rather than the non-Nickel Azo Yellow PY150. The PY150 Nickel Azo Yellow is a very sunny, bright color, similar to Nickel Azo Gold, but a lot more yellow and a lot less muted. And it has two hues within the color. You have this more darker, brownier color in the mass tone, and as you add more water, and you will see that in the next episode where we do the gradation, but the more water you add, it loses that brownness and it becomes very bright yellow. So let's take a look at the mass tones from different brands. On the whole, I'm noticing that the mass tone is more slightly orangier, brighter, browny color than in most of the brands, except for White Knight, which is a little bit more muted, kind of brown color, less orangey in the mass tone. In terms of streakiness, I think the Mission Gold one is pretty good for evenness. These are going to be streaky because of that variation in the hue and the value, depending on how concentrated the paint is. Most of them are going to be streaky at mass tone, certainly on cellulose paper. But Mission Gold is looking pretty even, considerably more even than other colors. And also Rembrandt, you do get that dark patch here, but it's on the whole a lot more even than the other colors. In terms of re-wettability, we had a few hard to re-wet colors. The White Knight was very hard to re-wet. The Rembrandt one was also hard to re-wet. We also had bubbling problem like we've described before. We had when you're trying to dissolve the paint with some water and brush, some paints do bubble. And that's got nothing to do with how you are doing it. You could be very consistent throughout your colors or your different brands, but particular colors will bubble. And I definitely experienced the most of that with the MaimeriBlu. I am trying to like that color, but the paints are making it hard for me to like. It created a lot of bubble and it did leave some marks. I feel like when it makes a few bubbles and it pops before it dries so it doesn't leave a mark, it's not such a big issue. But if the bubble stays and leaves marks, then I don't think that's okay. The Core one is definitely the ones that had a couple of bubbles, but they popped straight away, so there was no marking in the final dried sample. Sennelier one, I don't know what was going on, but it did have yellow bits in. I don't know what it is because it shouldn't have bits. The other brands don't, and it's a transparent color. It's not a granulation thing. I don't know what those bits are. I don't know what to think about that, but I want to know that so you guys know. I also had some bubble with the White Knight one, but like the Core one, it popped straight away, so it didn't leave any marks at all. Let's take a look at the prices next. The cheapest paint in the UK is the White Knights one because, of course, White Knights, I don't know if they're really good quality student brand or a really affordable artist quality brand. I've only, as you know, tried two colors. I haven't made up my mind yet. So far, they're good quality, but they are very affordable. They are 43 pence per milliliter. The most expensive one in the UK is the core one at £1.26 per milliliter. It's going to cost you £13.90 to buy a 11mm tube. In the US, the cheapest one we have is the Sennelier at 52 cents per milliliter, or $10.86 for a 21 milliliter tube. And the most expensive one is the Mission Gold one at $1.07 per milliliter, or $16.05 per 15 milliliter. Then we have the opacity test. And I was actually surprised at how varied the opacity is, because I'm like, well, surely PY 150 is a transparent color. It's Nickel Azo, so it's going to be transparent, but apparently not, which is really good to know. I don't want to tell you guys it's all transparent, and it doesn't turn out to be. The most transparent one is the Green Gold by Mission Gold. And then I would say the second most transparent is the Rembrandt one. The most opaque ones are the Yellow Lake by Sennelier and Nickel Azo Yellow by M. Graham. And it's not a bad thing that they are transparent ones and opaque ones. It's good because it means you can choose what opacity you want in your palette or in your artwork, and you can pick the brand accordingly. If you want transparent one, go for the Mission Gold or the Rembrandt one. Opaque one, Sennelier and M. Graham, and other brands are somewhere in between. Some people have really strong preference in opacity or transparency, so this is a really good test to have. And then finally for this video is the lift and glaze test, and I am expecting PY 150 to be staining, and they are. Most of them stain heavily. The most staining one I would say is the M. Graham one. And then the second one I would say is the Da Vinci one. The least glazing I would say is the Rembrandt one. But still it's quite staining. You don't get the paper back to white. So you want to be sure that you're putting it in the right place before you put this down, because the paper is always going to be tinted yellow afterwards, even if you try to remove the whole lot. In terms of glazes, I think the Daniel Smith one is beautiful in the glazing. The top layer is very even, and you see the lines very clearly off the edge of the first layer. This is exactly what you want as a good glazing color, so well done for that one. Second one I would say is the Winsor Newton one. I think there was a little bit of grease on the paint between me painting the first layer and second layer. I really try hard to avoid getting any kind of grease on this paper, but sometimes it happens, and that's why it's lighter. It's not a lift, it was more of a resist, so that's my fault. Please don't blame the paint for that. But you get nice, pretty even, not quite as even as Daniel Smith, but pretty even top glaze with nice clear lines of the bottom layer. I'm actually quite surprised at how not as good at glazing as some of these colors are. For example, core is pretty uneven. You don't see the layer below it well. The M. Graham one, you do see the layer very well, but it's quite uneven. And same here. Now, I did have some bubbles issue again. Bubbles in the Rembrandt and the core, and this time it did stay. I can see a couple here and a couple here, but the worst of all is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the MaimeriBlu. Don't know what it is, but I do get a lot of bubbling issues with MaimeriBlu. The ones I've tested on MaimeriBlu so far are the half pans that come already in a pan, dried, not the tubes. It might be different if you are using tubes. If you have experience with this color, either in the tube or the pan, do let me know in the comments down below if you have the same kind of issues. If this video has inspired you to try a new color that is PY 150 from different brands, but you don't want to pay out for whole tubes because watercolors are expensive, then don't worry, I've got your back. This month's Patreon exclusive dot card is the Nickel Azo Yellow dot card. And we have the Daniel Smith, Schmincke, Sennelier, Winsor Newton, Core, M. Graham, White Knight, and Rembrandt. And there's a ton of paints on here. People joke that these aren't dot cards, they're line cards. I just want to give you enough paint so you can thoroughly test out each brand until you know you're happy with one of those brands. If you'd like to receive this dot card, then all you have to do is head on over to patreon.com/AutoKano and sign up to the appropriate tiers, and I will be posting these dot cards to you very shortly. So that's it for this episode. What did you think? Which one is so far your favorite color? Do let me know in the comments down below. I think the Daniel Smith one, I love how it glazes. It's beautiful. It's quite hard to find good glazing color that glazes well on cheap cellulose paper. And this is really good. If this video has convinced you to try any of these paints, then I have left links down below to where you can buy them. Please do use them, as it helps the channel tremendously. There are lots of other ways of supporting this channel though. You can like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, or leave a comment. They all really help. Any interaction you give to the channel or the videos, they really help in growing this channel, so thank you so much for your support. Next video, we are going to be looking at the gradation, the salt test, how they look on cotton paper, and how it mixes with other colors. So do look forward to that and check that out. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!